Welp, it took me a while, but I've finally got my hands on the sequel to Ferals, the Crow Talker, and now that I've read it, I have one question I need to ask. Was it worth it? Let's find out. This book was so well anticipated by the fans of the series that it was published the same year as the first installation, and it was arguably much more popular with its fans, published into just as many languages as the first. It is well known for its plot twists and development of the world and the abilities of those who live in it. And yes, those aspects are good, but I couldn't help but feel disappointed with it. Weapons of importance have been downgraded, plot points and character growth backtracked, and all for one thing, which I thought was the primary flaw of this book. Power crawl. The villain of this book, the Mother of Flies, has to be more evil than the one in the last book, so she is made a monster of myths known and feared by everybody. So why wasn't she mentioned in the last book? Why wasn't she part of the last book's evil plan? Because she was too busy being evil. No joke, that's the explanation the characters gave. She didn't help the villains of the prior book because she was simply too evil for them. Her identity was meant to be a large plot twist, but this book introduced only 2 new characters, only one of whom was in an antagonistic role, so the reveal feels weak and lackluster. But anyway, can she be defeated with the epic magical sword from the last book? Nope! We need a new magical artifact that makes the sword, the crow's beak, seem useless in comparison. In fact, the sword's appearance is physically downgraded. It goes from 1 meter long to 2 feet, and its sharp and deadly curved blade has become a blunt, straight one. No explanation is provided for this change, and it is treated as if it has always been this way. Doesn't that render half the actions of the last book useless? And character growth and relationships are backtracked too. At the end of book 1, Cor, who was an outcast, made his first human friend in Lydia, and they parted on good terms, with a promise to see each other all the time. Lydia even said she'll teach him to read. Cut to this book, and they haven't seen each other for 2 months. Crumb is teaching Cor how to read, and Cor goes as far as to tell someone he has no human friends, only the crow his abilities let him speak to. Oh, and those crows? At the end of the last book, one of the crows, Milky, was no longer a member of the team, and it left a hole in the gang. How is their sadness handled in this book? Glossed over. In fact, the team even has a new crow that they've picked up. So, this book was disappointing. But is it bad? I know I've been quite negative so far. This book was still quite fun to read. The action sequences were intense, and the power crawl did succeed in upping the stakes for the characters. Several questions left lingering from the first book are answered, and several are left open to hopefully be tied up neatly in the final book in this trilogy. And one thing that this book did exceptionally is its show of consequences. Every action has one, and every battle takes a toll on the characters. Not everyone survives, not everyone makes it out in good shape, and it ups the stakes even more, making the book an exciting read. The consequences aren't even all bad. If someone learns a move or unlocks a new power during a battle, they use it later on and develop their skills with it. So, was this book good? Yes. Not as good as the first, but good nonetheless. Hopefully the third and final book will be able to keep this series afloat. Either that or it gets even worse and drags the series under. After all, it's hard to conclude a series. I have the third book ready to read, so fingers crossed you'll hear the final verdict very soon. This has been the PageTurner. Over and out.